Here's something the frugal living space doesn't want to say out loud. Most saving tips don't work. Not because you're doing them wrong, but because tips treat the symptom. They hand you a coupon app and call it a strategy. Well, the real reason you're overspending, the actual mechanism underneath it, goes completely unaddressed. Today, we're going through that mechanism. Number 1, learn to name the dark patterns on site. The OECD, the Organization for Economic Development, studied 1,000 e-commerce sites and found that 76% of them were using scientifically engineered psychology tricks to manipulate your purchase decisions. The FTC has already begun investigating it. Countdown timers that reset the moment they hit 0, only 2 left in stock, manufactured urgency, almost always fabricated. 3 other people are viewing this right now. A 2026 academic study proved that 1 pushes consumers to buy things they weren't planning to do. Corporate design teams with PhD-level behavioral scientists built these, and most of us have zero awareness it's happening. The micro habit is this. Learn to name 3 of these on site. Countdown timer, dark pattern. Scarcity message, dark pattern. Social proof notification, dark pattern. The moment you name it, the urgency dissolves. You didn't white knuckle your way through it, you just saw the board clearly. That's it. That's the whole habit. And yes, before we go any further, I sell things. Workshops, ebooks, soon a course. I use urgency, I use deadlines. The difference is mine are real. That's how you protect yourself. Ask 1 question. Is this deadline real or does it reset the moment I leave the page? Hi there, my friend. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Sara. I'm a certified financial coach and I help midlife women stop spending on the life that they were sold and start saving for the one that they actually want. Now, if that sounds like you, stick around and subscribe. My free newsletter and my book, Fundamentally Frugal, are both linked below and come find me there. Number 2, name the feeling before you buy anything unplanned. I want to read you something from a Reddit thread posted just a few days ago. Nearly 500 upvotes. Someone wrote, I knew exactly where my money was going. I just kept spending anyway. The math was never the problem. The problem was that I was spending when I was stressed, when I was bored, when I felt like I deserved something after a hard week, when I was lonely. None of that shows up in a spreadsheet category. Sound familiar? Here's the thing. Every financial system in the world assumes your problem is information. You just need a better budget, a better tracker, a better app. But that's not necessarily it. The spending is emotional, and no spreadsheet addresses the emotion. The micro habit. Before any unplanned purchase, name the feeling underneath the urge. That's it. Not, don't buy it, just, I'm stressed, I'm bored, I feel like I earned this. Behavior research is clear on this. Naming the emotion interrupts the automatic response loop. The purchase loses momentum. Sometimes you still buy it, but now it's a choice, not a reflex, and that distinction is everything. Number 3, before you buy anything you saw on social media, anything, sleep on it for 24 hours. No tracking, no transfer, just a simple rule. Social media is the single biggest impulse purchase trigger for women in our demographic. The desire that feels urgent at 9 p.m. dissolves overnight in most cases. As a matter of fact, researchers have found the emotional intensity of purchase impulse drops significantly after just 1 sleep cycle. The habit is the pause. That's the whole thing. Number 4, before anything new comes into the house, 1 thing has to leave. This is not a decluttering project and not a challenge. It's a gate. A spending gate that takes 2 minutes to execute and fundamentally changes how you evaluate a purchase. It comes from a good place. We buy things because we want our lives to be better, easier, more comfortable. But at a certain point, adding more just makes life more complicated. And for midlife women who already feel the weight of too much stuff, this one works because it's not even really about money. It's about space. The money savings are almost a side effect. Number 5 has the highest dollar return of anything on this list. Pick one day a year, your birthday, January 1st, any anchor date that you'll actually remember. Let's call it your annual bill call date. You call every single recurring service and you ask for a better rate. Cell phone, internet, home insurance, streaming bundles. One woman on Reddit went from $120 a month to $60 a month on her phone plan. Another saved $60 a month on homeowners insurance with one phone call. That's $720 a year from a single 20-minute conversation. The reason most people never do this isn't laziness. It's that there's no habit around it. There's no trigger. You put it on the calendar once and it takes care of itself every year after that. Number 6, before any significant purchase, calculate cost divided by expected uses. This is kind of fun. A $12 drugstore moisturizer used daily, 3 cents per use. A $90 investment moisturizer you use 30 times and then abandon, $3 per use. Cheap shoes that wear out in 3 months cost more per wearing than quality shoes that last 3 years. This reframe is especially useful for clothing and skincare, 2 categories where midlife women consistently overspend without ever realizing the math. It doesn't feel like much until it's $600 sitting in your closet doing nothing. We're about halfway through, and I want to plant something in your mind right now. Number 13, I'm saving it for last, might be the most revealing habit on the entire list. It involves your closet and a number that will probably genuinely surprise you. Stay with me. Number 7, cash envelopes, but modernized for a world that no longer wants your pennies. Here's the honest tension nobody addresses. Stores push tap to pay. Some places won't take cash at all, and the penny is essentially gone. The old cash envelope system sounds like it belongs in 1987, but the habit underneath it was never really about the cash. It was about making spending visible before it happens, not after. The modern version, pick 2 or 3 categories where you personally overspend. Groceries, takeout, personal care. Open up something called a free sub account in the banking app like Ally or SoFi. Label it with a category and transfer your envelope amount on payday. Spend only from that account for that category. The friction of the transfer is the point. That is the whole mechanism. The envelope was just the original delivery system. I also have a resource for you for those sub accounts or also high yield savings account. I'll leave a link for that in the description below. Okay, I'm genuinely curious. Where you live, are they discouraging you to use cash? Are they making using cash harder? Number 8, let the sale build the menu, not the other way around. No, I know this sounds like meal planning, but it's actually kind of the opposite. You go to the store first, you see what's marked down, then you decide what you're cooking that week. Chicken thighs are $1.49 a pound. That's your protein this week. Ground beef marked 30% off. Tuesday's dinner just wrote itself. The store already tells you what's affordable. The micro habit is just listening. Number 9 genuinely surprised me the first time I looked into it. More public libraries now lend more than books. Baking pans, power tools, board games, bicycles, Wi-Fi hotspots. Some libraries even lend formal wear and telescopes. The micro habit. Before buying any single-use or rare-used item, check your library first. One search, 30 seconds. The Library of Things is one of the most underused resources in America, and almost nobody in personal finance is talking about it for midlife women specifically. Number 10, mark down meat. Many grocery stores mark down meat on predictable schedules, often Monday mornings or late Sunday evenings. The micro habit is knowing your store's schedule and shopping that window intentionally. You buy what's marked down, you freeze it immediately. There are Reddit threads on this going back years. One person said they've been doing this for 20 years and never once had a problem. As a matter of fact, the habit feels slightly rebellious the first time and completely obvious by the third. Number 11, before you check out in-store or online, do one 10-second scan for category duplicates. You already have shampoo. Why is there shampoo in the cart? Already have olive oil at home. The habit, one item per category unless what you currently have is genuinely empty. Not low, empty. I see you, third bottle of Worcestershire sauce. Did I say that right? The research on this is actually kind of fascinating. A majority of impulse overbuys follows this exact pattern. We buy a second of something we already have because we can't quite remember if we're running low. The scan takes 10 seconds. The savings show up on every single grocery run. Number 12 is the simplest habit on this entire list. Every week, one thing from the freezer gets used before anything new comes in. Just one? Not a freezer cleanse and not a challenge, one thing. This is the antidote to what I call the freezer graveyard. That back layer of mystery bags and forgotten proteins that slowly turn your appliance into an expensive storage unit for food waste. The habit is tiny. The savings and reduced food waste are very real. And number 13, the one I saved. Once a year, just once, open your closet and pull out everything you bought in the last 12 months that you haven't worn and add up what you spend on it. The total is your closet tax. You don't have to do anything about it right away. You don't have to donate everything or swear off shopping. Just see the number, write it down, let it land. For most midlife women, that number is somewhere between $300 and $800. Sometimes considerably more. And there's something about seeing it written down, the really seeing it, that changes your shopping behavior more than any tip, any trick, or any system could. Because the habits that cost us the most don't feel like mistakes. They just feel normal. There will always be beautiful things to buy. That will never change. But the more you can see the real cost, the emotion underneath the urge, the dark pattern on the screen, the chicken from 8 months ago in the back of the freezer, the more those purchases become choices instead of reflexes. And that's really the takeaway. Which one of these is hardest for you? Drop it in the comments and I'll read every single one. And if this video spoke to you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and please watch this video next.